Hello everybody, welcome to the 27th video on my channel. I'm going to continue reading the Bible. I believe I am on Numbers, the book of Numbers, chapter 21. So I'll do a little bit of reading today. I know I've been away for a while, but you know, things happen in life. But now I am back, and it feels good to be back. But today we're going to continue. We're going to learn about the king Arad defeated, the copper serpent, Israel marched around Moab, the Amorite king Sihon defeated, Amorite king Og defeated. So, you know, we're still in the stories of the Israelites, what they had to go through. So if you want to follow along or just watch the video, Numbers chapter 21. When the Canaanite king of Arad, who dwelled in the Negev, heard that Israel had come by the way of Ephraim, he attacked Israel and carried away some of them as captives. So Israel made this vow to Jehovah: "If you give this people into my hand, I will without fail devote their cities to destruction." So Jehovah listened to Israel's voice and gave the Canaanites over to them, and they devoted them and their cities to destruction. Therefore, they named that place Hormah. As they continued their journey from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea in order to go around the land of Edom, the people became weary of the journey. And the people kept speaking against God and Moses, saying, "Why have you brought us up out of the Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no food and no water, and we have come to hate this contemptible bread." So Jehovah sent poisonous serpents among the people, and they kept biting the people, so that many Israelites died. So the people came to Moses and said, "We have sinned by speaking against Jehovah and against you. Intercede with Jehovah so that he may remove the serpents from us." And Moses interceded on behalf of the people. Then Jehovah said to Moses, "Make a replica of a poisonous snake and put it on a pole. Then when anyone has been bitten, he will have to look at it in order to keep alive." Moses at once made a serpent of copper and put it on the pole. And whenever a serpent had bitten a man and he looked at the copper serpent, he survived. After that, the Israelites departed and camped in Oboth. Then they departed from Oboth and camped in Abarim, and the wilderness that faces Moab towards the east. From there, they departed and camped by the valley of Zered. From there, they departed and camped in the region of the Arnon, which is in the wilderness that extends from the border of the Amorites, for the Arnon is the boundary of Moab between Moab and the Amorites. That is why the book of the wars of Jehovah speaks of Vehev and Suphah and the valleys of Arnon, and the descent of the valleys, which extends towards the settlement of Ar and adjoins the borders of Moab. Next they went on to Beer, which is the well about which Jehovah said to Moses, "Gather the people and let me give them water." At that time, Israel sang this song: "Spring up, O well, respond to it. The well that princes dug, that nobles of the people excavated, with a commander's staff and with their own staffs." Then they went from the wilderness onto Mattanah, from Mattanah onto Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel onto Bamoth. They went from Bamoth onto the valley that is in the territory of Moab, on top of Pisgah, which overlooks Jeshimon. Israel now sent messengers to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, saying, "Let us pass through your land. We will not turn aside into a field or a vineyard. We will not drink water from any well. We will march on the king's roads until we pass through your territory." But Sihon did not allow Israel to pass through his territory. Instead, Sihon gathered all his people and went out against Israel in the wilderness and came to Jahaz and began fighting with Israel. But Israel defeated him with the sword and took possession of his land, from the Arnon to the Jabbok near the Ammonites, because Jazer borders the territory of Ammonites. So Israel took all these cities, and they began dwelling in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon and all its dependent towns. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought with the king of Moab and taken all his land from him as far as the Arnon. That is what gave rise to the taunting proverbial saying, "Come to Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and firmly established." For a fire came out of Heshbon, a flame from the town of Sihon. It has consumed Ar of Moab, the lords of the high places of the Arnon. Woe to you, Moab! You will be destroyed, O people of Cheshmosh. He makes his sons fugitives and his daughters captives of Sihon, the king of the Amorites. Let us shoot at them. Heshbon will be destroyed as far as Dibon. Let us desolate it as far as Nophah. Fire will spread as far as Medeba. So Israel began to dwell in the land of the Amorites. Moses then sent some men to spy on Jazer. They captured its dependent towns and drove out the Amorites who were there. After that they turned and went up the way of Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out with all his people to meet them in battle of Edrei. Jesus said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I will give him and all his people and his land into your hand, and you will do to him just as you did to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon." So they kept striking him down along with his sons and all his people until none of his people survived, and they took possession of the land. Chapter 22. Then the Israelites departed and camped on the desert plains of Moab across the Jordan from Jericho. Now Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites, and Moab became very frightened of the people, because they were so many. Indeed, Moab felt sick with fear because of the Israelites. So Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now this congregation will devour all our surroundings, just as a bull devours the grass in the field." Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of Moab at the time. He sent messengers to Balaam, the son of Beor, at Pethor, which is by the river. In his native land, he summoned him, saying, "Look, a people has come out of Egypt. Look, they have covered the face of the earth, and they are dwelling right in front of me. Now please come and curse the people for me, for they are mightier than I am. Perhaps I can defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I well know that one whom you bless is blessed, and the one whom you curse is cursed." So the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian traveled with the fee for divination in their hands and went to Balaam and conveyed to him Balak's message. At that he said to them, "Spend the night here, and I will bring back to you whatever word Jehovah speaks to me." Excuse me. So the princess of Moab stayed with Balaam. Then God came to Balaam and said, "Who are these men with you?" Balaam said to the true God, "Balak, the son of Zippor, the king of Moab, has sent me a message saying, 'Look, the people who are coming out of Egypt are covering the face of the earth. Now come and put a curse on them for me. Perhaps I may be able to fight against them and drive them out.' But God said to Balaam, 'You must not go with them. You must not curse the people, for they are blessed.' Balaam got up in the morning and said to the princess of Balak, 'Go to your land, for Jehovah has refused to let me go with you.' So the princess of Moab departed and returned to Balak and said, 'Balaam has refused to come with us.' However, Balak again sent princess more numerous and more distinguished than the first group. They came to Balaam and said to him, "This is what Balak, the son of Zippor, has said. Please do not let anything hinder you from coming to me, for I will honor you greatly, and I will do anything you tell me to do. So come, please, and curse this people for me." But Balaam answered the servants of Balak, "If Balak were to give me his own house full of silver and gold, I could not do anything beyond the order of Jehovah my God, whether small or great. But please stay here tonight also, so that I may learn what else Jehovah will tell me." Then God came to Balaam by night and said to him, "If these men have come to summon you, go along with them, but you may speak only the words that I tell you to say." So Balaam got up in the morning and saddled his donkey and went with the princess of Moab. But God's anger blazed because he was going, and Jehovah's angel stationed him in the road to resist him. Now Balaam was riding on his donkey, and two of his attendants were with him. And when the donkey saw Jehovah's angel standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it tried to turn off the road into the field. But Balaam began to beat the donkey to make it return to the road. Then Jehovah's angel stood in a narrow path between two vineyards, with stone walls on both sides. When the donkey saw Jehovah's angel, it began to squeeze itself against the wall, and it jammed Balaam's foot against the wall, and Balaam began beating it again. Jehovah's angel now passed by again and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw Jehovah's angel, it lay down under Balaam. So Balaam began furious and kept beating the donkey with his staff. Finally, Jehovah caused the donkey to speak, and it said to Balaam, "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" Balaam replied to the donkey, "It is because you have made a fool of me. If only I have a sword in my hand, I would kill you." Then the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey that you have ridden on your whole life until today? Have I ever treated you this way before?" He replied, "No." Then Jehovah uncovered Balaam's eyes, and he saw Jehovah's angel standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. At once he bowed low and prostrated himself on his face. Then Jehovah's angel said to him, "Why have you beaten your donkey 3 times? Look, I myself came out to offer resistance, because your way is in defiance of my will. The donkey saw me and tried to turn away from me these 3 times. Supposing it had not turned away from me, by now I would have killed you and let the donkey live." Balaam said to Jehovah's angel, "I have sinned, because I did not know that it was you standing in the road to meet me. And now if it is bad in your eyes, I will go back." But Jehovah's angel said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but you may speak only the words that I tell you." So Balaam continued going with the princess of Balak. When Balak heard that Balaam had come, he immediately went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the bank of the Arnon, on the border of the territory. Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not send for you? Why did you not come to me? Did you think I am not able to honor you greatly?" Balaam replied to Balak, "Well, I have come to you now, but will I be allowed to say anything? I can only speak words that God puts in my mouth." So Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Ki-Athu-Huzoth. Balak sacrificed cattle and sheep and sent some to Balaam and the princess who were with him. In the morning, Balak took Balaam and brought him up to Bamoth-Baal. From there, he could see all the people. Chapter 23. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Build on this spot 7 altars, and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me." Balak immediately did just as Balaam had said. Excuse me. And Balak and Balaam offered up a bull and a ram on each altar. Balaam then said to Balak, Stay here by your burnt offering, and I will go. Perhaps Jehovah will get in touch with me. Whatever he reveals to me, I will tell you." So he went to a barren hill. Then God got in touch with Balaam, who said to him, "I set the 7 altars in row, and I offered up a bull and a ram on each altar." Jehovah put these words in the mouth of Balaam. "Return to Balak, and this is what you are to say." So he returned and saw that Balak and the princess of Moab were standing by his burnt offering. Then he spoke this proverbial saying, "Balak the king of Moab has brought me from Aram, from the mountains of the east. Do come to curse Jacob for me. Yes, come to denounce Israel. How could I put a curse on those whom God has not cursed? And how could I denounce those whom Jehovah has not denounced? From the top of the rocks I see them, and from the hills I see them. As a people, they dwell there alone. They do not count themselves among the nations. Who can number the dust particles of Jacob, or count even the 4th part of Israel? Let me die in the death of the upright, and let my end be like theirs." Balak then said to Balaam, "What have you done to me? I brought you here so you could put a curse on my enemies, and here you have done nothing but bless them." He answered, "Must I not speak whatever Jehovah puts in my mouth?" Balak said to him, "Please come with me to another place from which you can see them. You will see only a part of them. You will not see them at all. Put a curse on them for me from there." So he took him to the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars and offered up a bull and a ram on each altar. So Balaam said to Balak, "Stay here by your burnt offering while I get in touch with him over there." And Jehovah got in touch with Balaam and put this word in his mouth. "Return to Balak, and this is what you are to say." So he came to him and saw that he was waiting by his burnt offering, and the princess of Moab were with him. Balak asked him, "What has Jehovah said?" Then he spoke the proverbial saying, "Get up, Balak, and listen, hear me, O son of Zippor. God is not a mere man who tells lies, nor a son of man who changes his mind. When he says something, will he not do it? When he speaks, will he not carry it out? Look, I have been taken to bless. Now he has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He does not tolerate any magical power against Jacob, and he does not allow any trouble against Israel. Jehovah his God is with them, and he is loudly hailed as king among them. God is bringing them out of Egypt. He is like the horns of a wild bull for them, for there are no omens of doom against Jacob, nor any divination against Israel. At this time it may be said about Jacob and Israel, look at what God has done. Here is a people who will rise up like a lion, and like the lion, it will raise itself up. It will not lie down until it eats prey, and drinks the blood of the slain ones. Balak then said to Balaam, if on the one hand you cannot put any curse on him, then on the other hand you should not bless him either. Balaam answered Balak, did I not say to you, I will do all that Jehovah says? Balak said to Balaam, please, come and let me take you to yet another place. Perhaps it will be the right in the eyes of the true God for you to put a curse on him for me from there. So Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor, which looks toward Jeshimon. Then Balaam said to Balak, build 7 altars on this spot, and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me. So Balak did just as Balaam had said, and he offered up a bull and a ram on each altar. Chapter 24. Excuse me. When Balaam saw that it pleased Jehovah to bless Israel, he did not go away again to search for omens of the doom, but he turned his face to the wilderness. When Balaam raised his eyes and saw Israel encamped by his tribes, then the Spirit of God came upon him. He then spoke this proverbial saying, the saying of Balaam the son of Beor, and the saying of a man whose eyes have been opened, the saying of the one hearing the word of God, who saw a vision of the Almighty, who had bowed down with eyes uncovered. How beautiful are you, tents, O Jacob, your tabernacles, O Israel. Like the valleys they have extended a long way, like gardens by the river, like aloes that Jehovah has planted, like cedars by the water. Water keeps trickling from his 2 leather buckets, and his seed is sown by many waters. His king also will be greater than Agag, and the kingdom will be exalted. God is bringing him out of Egypt. He is like the horns of a wild bull for them. He will consume the nations, his oppressors, and their bones he will gnaw, and he will shatter them with his arrows. He has crouched down, he has lain down the lion, and like a lion who dares rouse him. Those blessing you are blessed, and those cursing you are cursed. Then Balak became furious with Balaam. Balak scornfully clapped his hands together and said to Balaam, "It was to put a curse on my enemies that I called you, but now you have done nothing but bless them these 3 times. Now go home immediately. I intend to honor you greatly, but look, Jehovah has deprived you of honor." Balak replied to Balak. Balaam replied to Balak, "Did I not say to the messengers you sent, if Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not of my own will do anything beyond the order of Jehovah, whether good or bad? I will only speak what Jehovah will tell me. And now I am going away to my people. Come and let me advise you what the people will do to your people in the future." So he spoke this proverbial saying, "The saying of Balaam the son of Beor, and the saying of a man whose eyes have been opened, the saying of the one hearing the word of God, and the one having the knowledge of the Most High. A vision of the Almighty he saw, while bowing down with his eyes uncovered. I will see him, but not now. I will behold him, but not soon. A star will come out of Jacob, and a scepter will rise out of Israel. And he will certainly break apart the forehead of Moab and the skull of all the sons of tumult. And Edom will become a possession. Yes, Seir, the possession of his enemies. While Israel is displaying his courage, and out of Jacob one will be subduing, and he will destroy any survivor from the city." When he saw Amalek, he continued his proverbial saying, "Amalek was one of the first nations, but in the end he will perish." When he saw the Kenites, he continued his proverbial saying, "Secure is your dwelling, and set on the crag is your abode. But someone will burn Cain down. How long before Assyria carries you away captive?" And he continued his proverbial saying, "Woe! Who will survive when God does this? Ships will come from the coast of Kittim, and they will afflict Assyria, and they will afflict Eber, but he too utterly perish." Then Balaam got up and went and returned to his place. Balak also went his own way. I'm going to end it there. What an interesting story. First of all, the whole serpent things. The Israelites, again, I probably for like the 6th, 7th, 8th time, they started complaining again about the food. And God had enough, sent some serpents out, and started killing the people. Then, they begged Moses to tell God to help them out. And so they had to build that copper pole with the snake on it, and then that's how people got saved, by looking at it. When they got bit, they wouldn't die. And then this story where this Balak guy got scared that the Israelites were a lot of people, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to call all these divination guys to come and curse these people." But then God always interfered. He's like, "I'm not going to let you curse these people." And he tried 3 different times, which is insane. So it's just interesting stories, and we'll continue along on chapter 25 on the next one. I believe Numbers has a total of 36 chapters, so we pretty much have 10 chapters left. So it'll be interesting to get into the book of Deuteronomy, but Thank you for tuning in. Sorry I haven't been posting so long, but I'll start doing it again continuously. Hope you are all doing good. Tomorrow is the turn of events with the whole presidential inauguration, so let's see what happens. And just God bless you all. Keep praying for everyone, your families, everyone around the world, the whole LA burning thing, all the victims, and just whatever crazy things that are happening around the world. Bless everybody, and thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video.